Issue of appointments, I had wanted not to talk about it because I was allowing the Western Kenya audience to see Osoti frying himself. I said, Osoti appears not to be real. Osoti, again, I beg you, pinch yourself this morning, you wake up. Appointments? That is for Kalenjins and Kikuyus? William Ruto? Osoti.
Yes.
Musalia Mudavadi from Vihiga, Chief Minister. Wetangula,
let him finish.
Wetangula from Bungoma, Speaker of the National Assembly and the third most highest ranking official in government under the Constitution. Chegai from Likuyani, Minister. Yes? Susan Nahomicha from Chitali, Minister. Ababu from Busia, Minister. Permanent Secretaries. BTC Nyangala from Kakamega. James Muhati from Kakamega. Susan Mangeni from Busia. Hadija Nganyi, Commissioner of the Commission for Revenue Allocation from Mumias. Listen to me. Boards. Boards, you have seen boards. Your former colleague, Mwambu, is in charge of the board, insurance. Your friend, former MP for Nambale, was appointed the other day, he's been given a board. Hangati has been given the sugar board. I can go on and on and on. Please say things that can be backed by facts. CASs. What is this big deal? We all read this constitution. The Constitution of Kenya says the president may create any other office he so desires, but with the approval of the public service, any office. So the president chose to create the office of the Cabinet Administrative Secretary. So
Chief.
The public...
Chief Administrative Secretary.
Chief Administrative, yeah. So the Public Service Commission was then invited by the Constitution to come in. What were they supposed to do and what have they done? Under the Constitution, Public Service Commission was supposed to advise the president that in the 22 ministries that you have, for example, the Ministry of Infrastructure is big. Please create 3, maybe one for transport, one for roads, one for airports and stuff like that, maybe 3. Ministry of Health, another example. Probably create one for public service, CAS, and another one for medical services. And they were to do that for all ministries and stop there. To go ahead and try and populate those ministries, they are doing that which is not given to them by the Constitution. The president is allowing that so as to give the impression that he is not being dictatorial, that he's doing wide consultations. Otherwise, he should have just gone ahead after having been given the slots that he's supposed to populate and name people into it, because appointments to those kind of officers by the president under the Constitution is the prerogative of the president. And that's why when he vacates, he lives with his ministers, with his principal secretaries, and with his cabinet, chief administrative secretaries.
Yeah.
The final point, which is important, is the issue of governance. I would like to disabuse, in fact, debunk the belief on social media that CAS is a tiny little job that should now be given to people as affirmative action, be it people living with disabilities or the youth or the women. No, CAS is a serious ministry, a serious office, because the CAS does what the minister does when the minister is not available. I have served this country faithfully under President Mwai Kibaki as an assistant minister. And I know that because ministries can be so busy, you as the assistant minister or CAS, you help the ministry to remain engaged in all activities by doing some of the things the minister would have been expected to do. That being the case, having proved that it's not meant for affirmative action, may I then speak to the issue of the interest by governors? If CAS office is important, then the best, the most competent should be recruited into those places. If a governor, for example, is competent, all the more reason, a former governor, all the more reason why that former governor should be appointed. If I was the appointing authority, for example, and I'm sorry to give this example, and I'm choosing between a young man like McDonald Mariga, he has applied, he's shortlisted. I'm choosing between him, and for argument's sake, let me use an extreme example. One of the people I don't love, who don't love me, who we are fighting with in courts, Evans Kidero. If I was choosing between McDonald Mariga and Evans Kidero, I will give Kidero. Because Kidero brings experience, brings maturity, brings expertise in terms of his academic background to the office. Unlike the other youth who is bringing in the allure of being youthful and being a sportsman. We want our government to be able to deliver. Government is not going to deliver because of who you appointed for the sake of affirmative action or responding to social media. It is going to deliver because of the competence of the person you have appointed. And therefore, the president, we encourage him. Should you find a governor fit, give him the job. And he shouldn't break his neck over it. I have been out of office speaker for 5 years. I did not run around for appointments. And I didn't break my neck.